Hey guys, Ron Cecil here, certified No More Mr. Life Guy coach. I help successful men fix their fucked up marriages. Welcome to today's topic. I was thinking about you guys last night. I was on a date with my wife. We went to our local living room theater, a nice place where you can sit on an overstuffed chair and have food served to you. We were there for the movie Oppenheimer. It's funny, it's not really a romantic movie per se. It's thoughtful for sure, but I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan. And more than that, my wife and I met in New Mexico. So it's special for us to think about, reminisce about that. But what stood out to me wasn't just that the movie was an excellent film, which it was, or that Cillian Murphy was amazing in the role, because he was also that, or that it was a Christopher Nolan film. I love most of his films. What surprised me and shocked me was how well they portrayed Robert Oppenheimer as a nice guy. If you haven't been to my channel or you are new here, one of the main things I do with men is discuss what Dr. Robert Glover talks about in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy Syndrome, which is a set of behaviors we pick up as kids in order to feel safe and secure in our adult relationships. And old Opie, as his friends at Los Alamos called him, was a consummate nice guy. If you've never heard the phrase before or you are new to the phrase, I think it's easy to get nice guy syndrome confused with what people nowadays call simps or even incels. Nice guy syndrome is not that. Nice guys need to be understood as men who are actually quite talented, quite good at what they do. They show up in the world and they get things done. They're often very successful. But one thing that they all have in common is that they're terrible at relationships. Most importantly, their romantic relationships. And that was true for the character in Christopher Nolan's movie. Upon further digging, I found out that was also true for the real Robert Oppenheimer. In fact, he really struggled with his romantic relationships. Now, to get back a little bit about what nice guy syndrome is, it's pretty simple. Nice guy syndrome is a few behaviors that men do in order to feel safe and feel loved and feel like they're going to be accepted and not be abandoned. Most often that looks like compulsive people-pleasing, but one of the big ones that we see in the movie Oppenheimer and we see in relationships over and over again with nice guys is this need to fix or to save the day for the love interest of nice guys. They look at women and feel like that they are the true answer to that woman's problems. They see women as the damsel in distress, broke or in need of fixing in some way, and nice guys believe that they have the true answer. I'll give you another example of this. I think it was serendipitous in the timing. Yesterday, before I went and saw the movie with my wife, I'd actually had a call with a gentleman who was considering working with me. And he told me exactly this. He said, man, I've had a lot of success in my life. I had a startup company in technology. It did very well. I worked at it for decades. I grew it to an amazing service. And I sold it, had a great exit. I don't ever have to worry about money again, and I get to retire at 50 years old. But I have no idea how to be in a relationship, and I have no idea how to connect in a healthy way to my own masculinity. I think that is a really simple way to describe what most nice guys suffer with. They don't know how to be in a relationship, and they don't know how to connect to their masculine energy. Most nice guys feel like they have to caretake or impress or do actions in their life to make their love interest or the women in their life feel like that they're taken care of in some way. At first, it works. In the beginning of a relationship, when men put all their attention on what they believe the needs are of their partners, it feels pretty good to both people in the relationship. But over time, the women feel smothered, and they watch their men lose them in making the women their emotional centers. And over time, it disgusts them, it grosses them out. I wish I could say I don't know what that's, but I've done it myself. If you're interested in hearing a bit about my story and that, you can watch my previous video on how to reclaim your masculinity in a relationship. But back to Oppenheimer. The character that Oppenheimer was portrayed as, in the movie at least, showed this in specific ways. Number one, he had a relationship, an affair really, with a younger woman who would go on to be a psychiatrist. But they really portrayed her as someone who was broken, who was pushing people away out of intimacy. And Robert in the film tried hard to woo her. He gave her flowers. He's doing all the right things. And yet the more he did the right things, the more he was pushed away. And yet on her side, there was this quality where she was also trying to keep him around. There became this codependent kind of relationship. That's very common with nice guys. Nice guys try to please, they try to impress, and in the process, they get pushed away. And yet they also get pulled in because there's this toxic, codependent cycle that happens. And they don't know how to break it, and they're not really conscious of it as it's going on. And then he enters into the second relationship. The second relationship was with a married woman who said she was miserable in that relationship and her marriage. And of course, he came to the rescue and used his charm and his wit to woo her. And along the way, gets trapped. He gets her pregnant. And I was reading on her Wikipedia page that she got him the old-fashioned way by getting pregnant. That was a direct quote from her. And so he went and married her. And she divorced her previous husband. But she was also a raging alcoholic. And this is really common with nice guys. Not necessarily the alcohol dynamic, but finding a woman who's got some major problem in her life that he thinks that he can somehow create the conditions in their life together as a married couple where she'll stop doing that. And he becomes a caretaker. And in the film, Robert is shown doing that over and at times getting overwhelmed beyond his understanding, which is exactly what happens to nice guys. And the third way that Robert Oppenheimer in the film showed to be a nice guy was that he hated conflict. Conflict from the beginning of the movie all throughout, especially, spoiler alert, the fact that there were some people in the government who didn't want to have the security clearance that he had. He wasn't able to stand up to it in the way that he should have because of who he was and what he had done in his life. Rather than stand up for himself, he allowed himself to be walked on because he didn't want to cause a fuss. He didn't want to cause a scene. Nice guys often deal with toxic shame and guilt for their life. And you see this over and over in the film. You see a guy who's trying to make up for his mistakes. Even though everything in his life is measured to be done exactly the right way, which is a massive nice guy trait, there's always this sense that he's not doing enough, that he's not done it right, and he's trying to make up for it. The men I work with are exactly that. They are men who have felt like they've done everything exactly according to the rules. They thought if they could be perfect, then their life would work out. And the reality is it doesn't. You can be exactly perfect according to your culture, your family, or your wife. And still, in that process, what happens is you lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, people detest you. And that was another quality that was shown in the film with the character, is that people kept asking him, who are you really? What do you really stand for? And that's the promise of integrating your inner nice guy, is that when you heal from nice guy syndrome, what you're really doing is saying, I'm going to heal and love and accept every part of me exactly as I am, rather than trying to be someone else to gain someone else's approval. If you've seen the movie and you feel like that it's you a little bit, or if you've recognized that trait in yourself, then I recommend a couple things. Number one, go read the book No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. In the book, at the end, he says, if you've read this and you want to do more work on yourself, then go hire a coach. Here's a list of my certified coaches. I'm one of those guys. That's why I was talking to that gentleman yesterday. And start to take stock over where you are trying to be perfect, where you are allowing people-pleasing to get out of control, and where you're looking at your relationship thinking if I can just fix her, then everything will be okay, or that you have the answer to all the problems. The truth of the matter is you need to fix your side of the street. You need to accept the person that you see in the mirror exactly as they are and love them and take care of them and notice where you want to run to hide from your guilt and the shame that you're dealing with. If it's outwards, if it's towards your partner, if it is towards substances, if it's towards numbing out, if it's towards more work, pay attention, notice. It's not going to change overnight. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort on your part to change that direction, but it can be done. I am one of those people who've done that. I'm a recovering nice guy myself, just as is Dr. Robert Glover. If we can do it, so can you. Go enjoy the film. Let me know what you think, or if you noticed any other qualities, the film that you see as nice guy syndrome. Let me know what you think of those. If you need any other help, check out the links below. I actually have a quiz for you to take to see if you have the nice guy traits that many of us carried that were destroying our relationships in our life. Go take that. If you'd like to schedule a introductory coaching session with me and get a clear roadmap of what you need to do to start to put the pieces back together in your relationship, or how to make a roadmap for your life, click that link. It's only $60. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you know somebody who might be interested in this, please share it. Until next time, guys, grace and peace. Adios.